Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kim C. I am a university fiction teacher, and welcome to my one-woman podcast, The Year of Underrated Stephen King, where since 2020, I've been celebrating Stephen King stories one episode at a time. Buddies, little brothers and little sisters. Today, we are talking all things The Life of Chuck to celebrate the brand new Mike Flanagan film adaptation of Stephen King's story, The Life of Chuck, that can be found within the 2020 If It Bleeds novella collection. Oh my god, I watched it last night. I am bursting over here, folks. Okay. As mentioned, last night I had the wonderful opportunity to attend an advanced screening of the film, and usually with new Stephen King film adaptations or TV shows, I like to wait at least 24 hours before I record so I can process and gather myself, scribble some notes. Not today. Nope and nope again. We are not even 24 hours out and I cannot contain my happiness. The celebration will commence now. I am so compelled to talk about this triumphant and damn near perfect Stephen King adaptation. The silver screen is simply singing with its glory, and I must proclaim to you all right now, right this second, why it's the best, greatest, and most perfect thing. Oh my goodness, friends, this film, let me tell you, this film is the one, the two, and the three. I off and on cried throughout the entire thing out of pure, enraptured delight, as well as my complete and total presence with the story and how expertly it was crafted. Peoples, I believe this one is a game changer. This film has surged to the front of the line in terms of the best Stephen King adaptation maybe ever. We'll circle back to this a little bit later on, but for now, this episode shall cover my post-reactions to the film, what I liked, loved, adored, any criticism. I think there may be one tiny itty-bitty critique that may evaporate as we go forward because it's mostly going to be praise, a deluge of praise. Firstly, let's take a quick pause and meet everyone where they're at. Let us first begin with those who have not seen the film yet, but maybe you read the story and you've clicked on this episode anyway just to test the waters. Okay, buddies, I see you, but here's what you're gonna do. What I will articulate first is my supreme encouragement for you all to read or reread the story before you see the film. It's 60 pages in the American hardcover. It's probably an hour or so in audio format. It will not take you very long. I did this before I went to the theater, and I'm so glad I did. I highly recommend it because your jaw will be on the floor with how close the film is to the actual story and how wonderful the enhancements are. This, of course, is a prime recommendation to those who fall under the badge of constant reader and who don't mind a little bit of textual homework beforehand. But if you're not, or wouldn't call yourself a constant reader and merely someone who dabbles in the world of King, that's okay too. I also recommend you spend some time with the story and have it fresh in your mind before you run and not walk to see the film, because it really will be an incredible comparison experience. Alright, so right now, if you have not yet seen the film, let's hard stop. Go read the story, and afterwards, look up theater showtimes and make it part of your weekend. And let's pause this episode right now until you've returned, having seen the film, because, sweet people, I ain't even gonna try to pretend to avoid spoilers. I am discussing it all, so please do not listen to any more going forward until after you've seen the film. Okay, now, go on and go read, go watch, and then return. And now, everybody left, going forward will be content for those who have seen the brand new Life of Chuck film and you're ready to dive into it with me. Didn't you love it? Wasn't it grand? Wasn't it just everything? The answer is yes. Yes, forever. Let us proceed. As I mentioned previously, I made sure to spend some time with the novella/short story before attending the film. Now, the end of the film credits called Life of Chuck a short story, and I think I've been calling it a novella forever because it's right on the edge in terms of page count. Some say 60 pages equals a novella. I've always heard 70 pages is where we can dole out the title of novella. I've always called it a novella because it's nestled in between 3 other novellas, but Flanagan's film called it a short story, so we're gonna go with that. So yesterday afternoon, I reread the short story, The Life of Chuck, before I attended the film, and I think this was my 3rd time reading the story, and boy are they correct, the 3rd time really is the charm. I know I said this in my original episode, Exploring If It Bleeds, which was many moons ago, and I think I also more recently mentioned it in my top 15 Stephen King novella episode a few years back, that The Life of Chuck is always rated a bit lower on my register. It was ranked lower than many others because for me, looking back, I think and definitely know for sure now that I overthought The Life of Chuck, and the power of it could never land the way I wanted. As all of you know, The Life of Chuck is a very ambitious story with cryptic imagery and experimental structure where the 3rd act begins the story and we continue to go backwards the entire time. And throughout the narrative, we have a simultaneously disjointed/connected looming apocalypse with this thanks Chuck symbolism all over the place. And when I first read the story in 2020, right smack dab in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, it hit a little close to home, so despite a brave face, I know I was triggered. And further knowing myself, I know I overthought the story too much, got lost in the sauce, especially in Act 2, when structurally we're playing with time and lingering longer in areas and scenes that aren't advancing the plot, but soaking up the milieu, and I just wasn't sure why. Overall, something big was lost on me with The Life of Chuck because I was overanalyzing, and the entirety of it, the beauty and poignancy, couldn't grow through my mental concrete. And over the years, when I talk about The Life of Chuck, many friends of mine say it's their #1 story out of the If It Bleeds collection. Mine is forever Mr. Harrigan's Phone, but what I'm trying to make clear is that this reread, guys, right before the film, finally it hit. I finally got it. I found myself tearing up at the narrative like I should have from the beginning all those years ago, but stress and life and whatever I was missing, whatever I wasn't landing on, it finally came back round again because, as you all know, Ka is a wheel. And hallelujah, I see it now. I got it. Thank heavens. I do have a sneaking hypothesis that I might be right on time with Destiny and this story finally breaking my door down, because this summer, dear ones, I will celebrate my 39th birthday. 39 great years. Oh, friends, it's all a really wonderful coincidence that lined me up perfectly to feel it all and see what this little story was trying to tell me all along. Finally I got it. I am wonderful. I deserve to be wonderful. I contain multitudes. Man, I think when I see it again, I really may well ugly cry. I kept it together on this first viewing with some quiet tear trickle and tissue dabs, but next time, all bets are off. Hopefully all of you are aware, but if you're not, that's the magic of King's writing, everyone. It will find you and grab you throughout time. What didn't hit the first or second time may decimate and change you forever the 3rd time, because you're older, hopefully wiser, lived a little more, seen some things, been broken, glued back together, found a way to stand again, and then a simple story, whose plot you vaguely remember, would crash into you with so much meaning you can't even fathom. That's why I'm finding, as the years go on, it's always so rewarding to stay plugged into King storytelling. It keeps on giving. And I've not yet encountered anyone else's art who does it for me quite like his does. Anyway, before I spiral off in that direction, let's recalibrate. Alright friends, before we get into my 5-ish bullets that will break down this episode, let's establish our King Foundation and remind everyone out there how the short story is put together. Once more, The Life of Chuck is the second story in the 2020 If It Bleeds novella collection. That's 60 total pages, according to the American hardcover. I do believe it is the smallest story in the If It Bleeds collection, I think. Pretty sure. And the story begins with Act 3, Thanks Chuck, which is 24 pages in length, followed by Act 2, Buskers, 16 pages, and rounding out with Act 1, I Contain Multitudes at 20 pages. Now, I want you guys to have that in mind as we start talking about the film because it works oh so well. And now, let's crack into what I loved about the Toronto International Film Festival winner, The Life of Chuck, directed by Mike Flanagan. Firstly, we must begin with bullet number 1, the script. Oh, friends, oh my God. It's so close. It's so perfect. Flanagan really knocked it out of the park. And this is why I'm really pushing that everyone reread or read the story for the first time before going, because guys, we're talking word for word from the story. It is seamlessly pulled and copied over in a way that is authentic and real. It fits so well, and it honors the story perfectly. It's so close. It's astonishing how close it is. I was so incredibly pleased. And all the changes, all the differences are merely enhancements to the characters. He improved upon things. We will talk about enhancements more so a little bit later on in the list, but I think one of the most important things to celebrate is Flanagan's script. This is a tricky story to bring to life, guys. Structurally, there's a lot going on here in terms of making it translate, making the audience understand that what we're dealing with is this layered, complex story over a span of many years. There's just a ton to get lost in, and yet Flanagan's choices are so smart. I don't feel anybody gets lost. Everybody's right where they need to be as the story progresses. Number 2, the voiceover. Oh my gosh, friends, this is huge. This is so dang huge. Okay, so as you will have heard and observed in the film, Nick Offerman, who is one of my favorites from Parks and Rec, he played the unsinkable Ron Swanson. I love Nick Offerman. He has such a great voice. There is a lot of voiceover in each act of this film. Nick Offerman is the voice directly from the narrative. And what's interesting and a little bit crazy is that there's a lot of voiceover. More than I think many screenwriters would say is possible to be a success. There's so much voiceover, a part of me was a little concerned, probably in Act 2, when I thought to myself, oh man, he's talking a long time. This is a lot of voiceover, like a lot. Is it okay? Yes, it is. We're okay. It's fine. I started to get a little nervous just because everything in me academically was starting to sort of swallow a lump in my throat, thinking that this might start to go south because we actually have a little too much voiceover. But it works because in King's narrative, he's trying to guide us through this very experimental structure. Here is the end of what we come to find out is the multitude, the city, the life, the town found within Chuck. And then in Act 2, we really get direct voiceover that is narrating exactly what's going on in Chuck's mind, as well as the character of Janice Halliday, who dances with him in the absolutely stellar and incredible dance number. We have 2 dance numbers in this film, one in Act 2 and one in Act 3. They are both stupendous. They are both the best thing ever. But before I get too carried away on that, the voiceover is heavy. It is heavy in Act 2. It comes in a little bit late in Act 1, and that was one of the critiques I have, but I actually think it's okay. I think that we should not have had the voiceover to start Act 1 off. I think that Flanagan was exceptionally smart in letting the audience sink in, having the audience feel a little bit confused, a little bit curious, and then I want to say about maybe 10 to 15 minutes into Act 1, then we hear Nick Offerman's voiceover about Marty. And then we start seeing some really startling global footage of things dying, ending, disaster. But Act 1, the voiceover comes in a little bit late. Act 2, the voiceover is very heavy. And Act 3, the viewer feels very comfortable with Nick Offerman's presence and voiceover throughout. And it works really, really well. But it's heavy. There's a lot of it. And it seems like it shouldn't work, but it does. Because the audience does have questions. This is tricky. Where are we in time? What happened to all those people in the first act? What's going on? And so the grounding sound of Nick Offerman's voiceover, that omniscient voice guiding us through the film, it was great. It was really strong, and I'm so glad he leaned into the narrative so much. Flanagan really leaned into it. He didn't want to change much. He wanted to bring it to the screen, but keep the integrity, keep the magic of it. And in order to do that, you need that omniscient narrative voice. Oh, it's so good. Number 3, the performances / go off Matthew Lillard. Oh my goodness, friends. Firstly, the performances are just 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, maybe 15 out of 10. They are so good. It's so wonderful to observe Flanagan films because he has a lot of repeating actors that pop up in several of his productions, so it's always great to see familiar faces. Kate Siegel is, of course, his wife. She was there, as well as Rahul and a whole bunch of actors that I've seen in other Flanagan productions. Everybody, it was dialed in. Mark Hamill is incredible as Grandpa, but I tell you, the one who kind of stole the show for me is Mr. Matthew Lillard. If you guys are millennials like myself and you remember seeing the first Scream movie, that's where I first saw Matthew Lillard. Gosh, I must have been about 13, maybe not even 13, 12 or 13, when I was at a sleepover and we snuck watched Scream. It really messed me up. That's probably one of the other reasons I don't do well with slashers. Anyway, I have not seen Matthew Lillard in any acting roles other than the high school movies that we all watched. We millennials. He's got a really lovely little monologue in Act 1, and he just nailed it. He completely stole my heart. He is wearing a safety vest. He looks like he is a tradesman, a blue-collar worker, and he's trying to communicate to the audience that it's so bad. It is beyond bad. And all they can do is sit with it and accept it and be in the moment and breathe and grieve. And he gets emotional in front of Marty. Guys, it was amazing. It was so lovely. He just won me over. Act 1 was so good. I mean, all of them were good, but Act 1 really, really makes an impression. Because, of course, if you don't know the story and if you are coming into the film very cold, you are definitely, as the viewer, thinking to yourself, what in the hell is going on? What is happening? What in the apocalypse is going down? What? And Matthew Lillard, wow, I can't speak highly enough of how he kind of stole my heart. Everyone did. Oh my God. Every performance, every role, I just was cheering for every single role. They were so good. Number 4, the enhancements. As I mentioned in point number 1, the script is so tight and solid. It is such a close adaptation, almost word for word. Wow, all elements of the story are just brought to life on the screen. But what Flanagan does, and why I feel he is the best person to adapt King's work, is any changes Flanagan makes always honor the characters. So if you are going to make changes in a King work, if you're going to alter the story, alter the plot, A, that's very risky. I don't recommend it. But B, if you're going to do that, make sure it continues to honor the character journeys and their progression through the plot. So one of the enhancements I was very impressed with is Grandpa's character later on in Act 3, I believe, yes, with young Chuck. Mark Hamill, who nails the role of Grandpa Zadie, which I think Zadie is just the nickname for Grandpa. I think that might be a Yiddish word. Don't quote me, I might have got that wrong. Pardon me, guys. Anyway, Grandpa/Zadie is talking with young Chuck about pursuing mathematics and accounting a little bit more because, yes, it's great that you like dancing. It's wonderful, but hey, there's a lot of dancers in this world and they're not very successful. But you know who is successful? People who are good with numbers. That's an honorable profession. That is something you should take into consideration, Chucko, because, hey, I save people's lives. I really help out. And there's art in the numbers. And you are good with art and blah, blah, blah. And this is not found in King's story, but it's wonderful. It intensifies the bond between Grandpa and Chuck. The viewer can really see how close they are. We also really enjoy the character of Grandpa because he's not totally besmirching Chuck's dream to dance in the future, to pursue what he loves. He's just giving him extra nuggets to think about. Like, hey, yes, dancing's great. He's slightly besmirching it to a small extent, but he's really saying, hey, why don't you keep this in your sights as well? That's not in King's story, and it's an enhancement of Grandpa's character. I loved it. The other enhancement is also found in Act 3 with young Chuck at the dance. Chuck is, of course, in the Spinners and Twirlers after-school dance program where he is just an absolute star, learning all these dances that he first learned with Grandma, with his bubby. He's super passionate about it, and he is very nervous about dancing with star 8th grader Kat McCoy, who is the best dancer at Twirlers and Spinners, and Miss Rohrbacher allows them to link up and show off and demonstrate their moves. At the dance, Chuck is very nervous and doesn't want to go forward with dancing with Kat, and he says he has a hurt leg. This is not in the story, but it works so beautifully. Miss Rohrbacher and Kat try and talk him out of it, try and give him a little bit of a pep talk. It extends the scene out, and then it's really triumphant when Chuck finally takes that brave step and goes for it once he hears the song that gives him that motivation to show off and dance with Kat. These are not in the story, but again, it's just extra sprinkle, the cherry on the sundae that adds to the character, complements their journey. It's so good. It's just so good. And that's all he did. All Flanagan did was keep everything as it is in the story. Everything. Even the names of the characters. Nothing is changed, guys. It is tight, tight, tight like a drum. This script, this story is just a mirror image of the narrative. But what he does do is just give these little enhancements, these little additions that complement. And man, chef's kiss. So smart. This is how it should be done, everybody. If you want to adapt a King story, this is how it should be done. Every choice you make should honor the narrative, should honor the characters, and make sure it's complementing their journey, augmenting and amplifying it, rather than selfishly taking the viewer on an absolute wild journey through the woods. However, sometimes Flanagan, being a master storyteller, he does create something out of nothing. He does make decisions that were not in the narrative. Case in point, Dr. Sleep from 2019. The Dr. Sleep film ends very, very differently from the Dr. Sleep novel. However, it honors the character of Danny Torrance. So you walk away from the film understanding that it was different from the book, but also realizing that the character of Danny Torrance grew and came full circle. So I believe changes and differences and additions, interpolations, they are allowed when the character journeys are honored. And that's why Flanagan's amazing, because he understands that King is a character writer. So if you honor the characters, even if you do make changes to the plot, the viewers won't be super duper upset, because the integrity of the story will continue to come through. Number 5, I wanted to highlight one of my favorite parts of the film. The entire film is pretty much my favorite part, but the one that got me, guys, the scene that really stabbed my heart with beauty. This is in Act 1, where Marty sees the young girl on roller skates, which I have seen that actress before. I am currently rewatching with the Flanagan's Wake podcast, The Haunting of Hill House from 2018, and she plays young Nellie Crane. She is growing up so fast, I don't know her real name, pardon. But anyway, the young girl on roller skates, Marty's talking with her, the lights go out. The power grid of the city has obviously failed. It's a little frightening for a quick second. And then there's this blue light in all of the windows. And it's Chuck. It's this image of Chuck. And I thought this was so incredible because it's not the same image. They're all different images. Some of the images contain Chuck in a face where he's crying. Some are when he is smiling and happy. Others, he actually looks really sick. It's like this flashbook of Chuck images. And the ones where Chuck has tears in his eyes, that got me, guys. I was immediately emotional. I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes and dripping down because seeing Chuck cry. And again, I know the story. I know why he's crying. I know why he's emotional, but nobody else does in this place. Act 1, they don't understand what's going on with Chuck, and thanks Chuck and 39 great years. I loved that scene. It really got me. It's beautiful. It's haunting. It's really emotional. If you get the opportunity to see it a second time, really look at all of the images and see what Chuck is doing. And the one where the actor Tom Hiddleston, it looks like he's about to cry. That got me, everybody. Oh, that absolutely got me. Number 6, we must talk about the dance numbers. Oh my God. Worth the price of admission just for those small segments. Oh my gosh. Friends, in Act 2, buskers forever in Flanagan's film, and in the narrative it's just called buskers. We have this isolated moment in time when Chuck is 9 months out from death, and he is, in the narrative, attending a accounting conference, and he hears a drummer, and he just decides. He just lets go and starts to dance and grabs Janice Halliday, and they dance and they blow the roof off the place. They get a crowd around them. They get a ton of cash falling into the hat of the drummer, and it's just an electrifying afternoon. And man, this is why movies are made, guys. It is so awesome. Tom Hiddleston is such a great dancer, but the whole thing is very, very reminiscent of old Hollywood musicals. One of my favorites is Singing in the Rain from the, when did that one come out? 1950s? Early 1950s? 1952. Got it. Thank you, Internet. I've seen that one hundreds of times, and there are so many awesome sing and dance numbers in that one. And thankfully, the film is given a little bit of attention in Flanagan's spotlight, Singing in the Rain, but the actor Donald O'Connor, who's equally an incredible dancer right next to Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly is just style and sass and grace, but Donald O'Connor mixed a lot of physical comedy into his, and I feel that's what Tom Hiddleston did. His is very suave, totally wonderful, but we've got some physical comedic elements mixed in as well. It's just wonderful. Also, quick shout out to costume design. Janice Halliday, that actress, is wearing a 1940s dress, everybody, and her heels are 1940s. My little vintage loving heart soared at the sight of it. She looks beautiful. She is just the most iconically lovely dancing actress. They complement each other so well, but her shoes, her dress, her hair, her makeup, it was, God, it was just perfect. I just loved every second of it. I loved the drumming. It's so great. The dance numbers will just make you smile. You will just feel yourself smiling in your chair. And then in Act 3, we get another helping of dance wonderfulness with young Chuck at the school dance with Kat McCoy. It is so precious. The music is great. The student body and the staff, the people who you see who work at the school, it all comes together, and you could see how Flanagan is weaving story, where the actors you saw in Act 1, where there's a lot of confusion, curiosity, trying to figure it out, and then you see these people again in Act 3, and it works so well. It just works. Another element I totally loved was the Carl Sagan space-time continuum, where they are talking about all celestial existence you could put in a calendar year. It's such a great way to tell the story, to make it seem so big. It was really smart. Let's recap what we've got, everybody. Number 1. God, this script is perfect. It is stunningly close. It is the most wonderful adaptation because it's almost a mirror image, guys. I'm telling you. We've gone almost line for line dialogue here, which is so great to see as a King fan. Because Flanagan loves King's work. You could tell he loves and respects what he sees, and he wants it to translate. He wants to keep it as is. He's not here to change it. He just wants it to come across as strongly as possible, which I commend him for. Number 2, the voiceover. Nick Offerman was the perfect choice. There's a lot of it, which makes me, as a purveyor of the craft, a little nervous, but it works so well. It works perfectly. In any other film, it would not. It would definitely be too much voiceover. But because we are staying really close to the narrative, we need that omniscient voice to communicate what's going on, to guide the viewer to understand what's happening. It's perfect. Number 3, the performances / Matthew Lillard go off. Oh my God, guys. Every single actor, actress was perfect and amazing. It was heartwarming and good. They nailed their role, and Matthew Lillard stole the show for me in Act 1. Number 4, the enhancements. Flanagan stayed, of course, very close to all plot developments in the story, but added a little bit of magic for the character of Grandpa, as well as the school dance, by providing a little bit more content with Chuck's hurt leg, and Grandpa encouraging that Chuck take a look at the magic of numbers. Number 5, one of my favorite scenes, the light up Chuck windows in Act 1. Oh my God, I can't get that scene out of my head. It is so beautiful. It really got the tears flowing for me. I just loved it. Perfectly done. It's such a cool part of the narrative in Act 1, the light up windows when things are really coming to the end. So good. Perfect. Loved it. Number 6, the dance numbers. Both of them. Worth the price of admission alone. You will smile. You will cheer. They really bring this film to life. I love them so much. Let's look at anything else we want to say about the film. Well, I plan on seeing it again. That is definitely in the cards. I think me and my book club are going to head out on a group date. We're going to have a little field trip and take in the film together. I'm not going to spoil anything. We're just going to be in it for the ride. I'm just so immensely grateful to Mike Flanagan and his entire creative team and all the actors involved in this adaptation. It is special. If I think about my favorite Stephen King adaptations, The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, I think this is up there now. This really is so up there. It honors the story so beautifully. It visually takes a complicated novella in terms of structure and makes it a breathtaking, heartwarming character journey that illuminates how precious life is for however many years we all have. The years honestly don't matter. It's what we're doing with the moments we have. Are we being present? Are we choosing to dance? Are we letting go and feeling the rhythm and going for it? Are we dancing, or are we letting it pass us by? It's so powerful, it's so beautiful, and I finally get it now. And this year, it will be 39 great years for me, and I've never loved this story more than I do now. And now we've got such an incredible film, ladies and gentlemen. God bless Mike Flanagan and his entire creative team, but I just commend him for honoring Stephen King's art the way he does. We are in good hands with The Dark Tower, everybody. We also have a ton to look forward to in terms of a brand new Carrie adaptation that he's also working on. Oh man, Flanagan should just do King forever. I know many out there agree. If you're interested in more analysis on Mike Flanagan, jump over to my friends Matt and Scott from Kingslingers. They now have the Flanagan's Wake podcast because they are just as in love with Mike Flanagan as I am, even more so. I think they have double the amounts of love as they are devoting an entire podcast to his genius filmmaking and storytelling. So jump over in that area if you would like to hear more about the genius of Mike Flanagan. Much to celebrate and much to look forward to. There will be more things to say about this incredible film. I'm going to most likely chat with Matt Hurt from Tower Junkies, so stay tuned for that episode coming up in the near future. I know Matt gave it 5 stars immediately. He got a really early screening in Indianapolis, and he is absolutely jumping off rooftops with joy, which is exactly what I'm doing. So much more to say on this incredible film, but please read the story. Go watch it. Go watch it again. Let's do double viewings. I really see this one going far. I think Oscar season. I think it could break through. I do. Well, Oscars are pretty political, so I don't know. You have to mark it, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole political thing. So I don't know, but it could. It should. It's wonderful and lovely and magical, and it has filled me with such happiness. I hope you guys love it just as much as I do. If you haven't said hi to me yet, please do so at UnderratedSK@gmail.com. You can also reach me on any of the socials and my Patreon, The Dance Macabre with Kim C., where for the bargain price of $222 US, you can plug in with a ton of extra King content, specifically Stephen King film adaptations, Stephen King short story, and Stephen King females. I have a few weeks of summer before a summer class begins, so I am luxuriating in the free time. I am currently reading Never Flinch. I'm about 100 pages in. It's a real joy to be back with Holly Gibney and the gang. Oh, wow. King is a plot machine in this one, ladies and gentlemen. And gosh, it's always a celebration to have a new King work, isn't it? Oh, what a gift. What a gift his stories are. No matter what he wants to write about, I'm there. Thank you guys so very much for listening. I love you all. Enjoy the life of Chuck, both on the page and the screen. And I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.